Sure.
Yes, I think we're all ready.
All right. Very good evening, everyone. My name is Meet Shukla. I look after digital strategies and technology at Unified Growth Foundation. We have gathered today for the webinar presented by Times of India in association with Unified Growth Foundation and Literati Juris. Unified Growth Foundation is a Section 8 company working primarily in three verticals. We work in education, skill development, and trade and industry. When we look at trade and industry from a 10,000 feet view, it is ideally divided into two main ideologies. The first ideology is system-oriented leadership, and the second is people-oriented leadership. Both have their distinct ways to process and operate the business flow. However, they both share one common stream, and that is documentation. And to be more precise, legal documentation. Today, even though we are regional, we are directly or indirectly a part of this large global village. Globalization has made things easily accessible to us by a click of a button. But at the same time, it has made our concepts, ideas, and products vulnerable to plagiarism. So it is time for us to accept this new norm and understand the need for intellectual property rights, which in fact plays a vital role in scaling up business and profits, especially when we are talking about Indian companies, by protecting IPR in this COVID times. So with that, I would like to pass my baton to my colleague, Ms. Shweta Upadhyay, to welcome and introduce our panelists and guests. Over to you, Shweta ma'am. I think ma'am, you're on mute.
All right. Thank you so much, Meet. Thank you for the wonderful introduction of the webinar and our subject. I welcome all the panelists. On behalf of Unified Growth Foundation, Times of India, and the team India SME Forum at Gujarat chapter and our head office, we welcome all our honorable panelists present with us today, who have taken out their valuable time from their compressed schedule to share their thoughts, opinions, and suggestions on the matter of discussion today. We also welcome our viewers on Times of India platform, our India SME Forum members and SME members joining us from various platforms, digital platforms of Gujarat Chamber of Commerce and Industries, iHub, and also from Rajkot Chamber of Commerce and Industries. Thank you so much for joining us from their respective digital platforms. Let me take this opportunity to welcome and introduce to our viewers an inspiring spread of our panelists today. We have with us Mr. Pathik Patwari, the Honorary Secretary, Gujarat Chamber of Commerce and Industries. He's an entrepreneur himself who strongly believes in innovation and adapting to technology with changing times. He is a very dynamic second-generation entrepreneur, director at Nexus Group, represents Gujarat Chamber of Commerce and Industries, the apex body of Gujarat, as Honorary Secretary. He's a board member, Gujarat Innovation Society, and also a board member for Indian Merchant Chamber in Mumbai. We welcome you, sir. We very warmly welcome Ms. Sushma Morthania, who is, being an entrepreneur herself, has given a part of her commitment and vision on overseeing the development of India SME Forum, along with she is the present founder trustee of India SME Forum. As its Director General, she is involved in some of its outreach and knowledge sharing activities. Sushma ma'am was appointed in January 2015 to the National Board of Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises, India's apex body for MSMEs by the Ministry of Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises. She also represents India on B20 SME Task Force and is also a member of Parliament Commission on Social Issues and Women Entrepreneur for the World Union of Small and Medium Enterprises. Very warm welcome to you, ma'am. We also have joining with us, representing the startup initiatives of India, Mr. Hiranmay Mahanta, who is the CEO himself of iHub, which is a Gujarat government initiative, and a director of GTU Innovation and Startup Center. Mr. Hiranmay Mahanta has been a keen, very, very pivotal pioneer in developing the innovation startup ecosystem in the state. As an entrepreneur, he co-founded Techpedia in colleges, to showcase innovations across universities in public domain, to build a strong innovation culture across the youth. For this, he was awarded with former President Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam at IIM Ahmedabad. We welcome you, sir, and we really recognize your contributions to the startup industry. We also have Mr. VP Vaishnav today with us, who is a very strong visionary and has been working towards the development of trade and industry, and is also the chairman at VP Securities and Investments Private Limited, Imperial Technoforge Private Limited. He has been very actively representing trade and industry through his robust stature in various associations and trusts. He is currently the president of Rajkot Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and also represents GCCI, the apex body of Gujarat, as honorary regional secretary for the state. He is president Federation of Saurashtra Kutch Chamber of Commerce and Industry of Rajkot, and also represents NCGTC monitoring state and district level committee formed by Gujarat government. We welcome you, sir. We have with us Mr. Nilesh Shukla, the President, India SME Forum, and the founder director, Unified Growth Foundation. Mr. Nilesh Shukla is an industrialist by profession, a great conceptualizer, a visionary beyond compare, and a motivating leader. His passion is ethical leadership in team building, entrepreneurship, skill development, and working towards the social cause remains his priority. He is the founder director of Unified Growth Foundation, which is a Section 8 company working primarily towards betterment of youth, employment, and providing professional solutions in various verticals like education, business, and trade affairs. Being president of India SME Forum chapter, Gujarat chapter, for trade and industry has taken his representation and youth development activities to a statewide connect. We welcome you, sir. We also have Mr. Vaibhav Mehta with us, who is himself a senior IP lawyer, presently working as senior general manager and vertical head for legals at Bajaj Electricals Limited. He handles a range of legal issues for the company, including regulatory, intellectual property, litigation advisory, contract, etc., along with day-to-day legal issues pertaining to the company's domestic and international business. He has played a very active role in protecting and enforcement of companies' intellectual property, both in India as well as abroad. We welcome you, sir. We also have with us our knowledge partners for today on the subject matter, Mr. Rahul Dhote and Ms. Ragini Shah from Literati Juris. Mr. Rahul Dhote is he's a BSL, LLB, and LLM, and also a partner at Literati Juris, which represent intellectual property, media and entertainment, also commercial litigation. Rahul regularly appears before Indian courts and is a part of several landmark decisions in IP space. He also advises startups and Fortune 500 companies on protection, commercialization, and enforcement of IP and many other such allied rights. We have with us Ms. Ragini Shah, who's a patent attorney. She's a certified Indian patent attorney, having completed her LLM from UC Berkeley, California. And after working with a US-based law firm, she brings her immense expertise today on the table in the field of intellectual property law from both Indian as well as international borders. Her expertise lies in IP strategy, patent law, and international IP protection. We welcome you all, and now we open the platform for the discussion with such an immense panelist spread with us today. So on the onset of the panel discussion, we have with us Ms. Sushma Morthania, who's the Director General at India SME Forum. Ma'am, with your immense amount of interaction with many SMEs, and specifically in difficult times today, you must have seen the approach and the difficulties faced by manufacturers in today's time, specifically in COVID times. And also, if you can throw some light on the kind of difficulties which are faced by these people, and also the trends, the IP trends, which basically an MSME sector follows. IP, intellectual property rights, being a very an unpenetrated topic. If you can throw a little light on, the trends that MSME follows for IP trends. Thank you, ma'am.
A very good evening to all the esteemed panelists who have joined us here today, and thanks to Nilesh Bhai and Team UGF to have given me this opportunity to speak here today. Also, thanks to Shweta for that elaborate and kind introduction. Um, yes, I mean, everybody and all of us are aware of what the problems have been thrown on our face as entrepreneurs during these COVID times. First 5 months we faced with shutdown. Now there are so many companies, especially micro companies, which have already shut down or are on the verge of shutdown. Secondly, there are so many companies, which don't know, which are like hanging in, transition, who have not made up their mind whether to still continue work from home or whether to start operations. And there are some of them who want to reorient their companies, looking at the current opportunities that COVID has thrown at them. So it's primarily, not just money and migrant labor and work orders and markets, but yes, what new opportunities exist and how to actually reorient your business in the current times is what I think is a challenge. Of course, we have been, reading in newspapers and talking every day to SMEs, and problems are unique and similar also to a certain extent. But according to me, I mean, there is one major problem and challenge, and also a boon, what I would say, if entrepreneurs would adopt, would actually make or break their business in their current times, is being digitally enabled. Lot of companies who have managed to transform their businesses digitally, get themselves acquainted to start doing business online, transform their business online, start making their websites, get them listed on e-commerce sites, go on various e-marketplaces and all. And that's what has made all the difference to the entrepreneurs presently. It's not just whether you are a manufacturing or a service provider, there are so many operations. Of course, manufacturing you cannot replace, but there are a lot of aspects of running and doing your business which can be transformed or taken up digitally, is what is the need of the hour for most of the entrepreneurs. Like, let me just give you a small example. I mean, there are so many women who have been running small beauty parlors from their home. And these women, who, among whom some of them got listed on maybe Just Dial or these yellow pages, and where they listed their services, and that's where they kept their business alive, and that's where they kept their source of income alive. So these, by this small example, is the point that I'm trying to make is, getting your business digitally enabled, and getting online now is the only natural transformation that one needs to adopt. And while we are transforming, innovation is also the key to sustain and survive in the business, compete, and be successful in your business. When I say innovation, innovation can be through a product, or innovation can be through a process. And how do you protect that innovation? Is through IP. So when I say IP, you either, label through a trademark, or when you create an IP through a patent, a process, you patent it. When you make a creative work, you either copyright it. And when you are making similar products or articles and all, you make it a GI or a geographical indicator where there is a cluster which is working and making those same standardized products, because it is using the same process, it is using the same raw material, and the output is the same. So IP is of course very, very important, because here also I would like to maybe quote one or two examples right from Gujarat itself. Like, we talk about Surti Farsan, but I never heard whether Surti Farsan got trademarked, or whether there is a trademark existing. Correct me if I'm wrong, Nilesh bhai, because everybody and anybody just talks about Surti Farsan, but nobody talked about or thought about creating a trademark or a brand out of it. But if I was to talk about an example of a Bikaner wala or a Bikaji or a Haldiram, every household in Rajasthan makes those same bhujiyas. Every mother or a grandmother of a Rajasthani family would make that same bhujia. But why today a Bikaner wala, just because it created that brand, it's a 125-year-old company. It has 100 outlets here in India, 25 outlets outside India, 4 manufacturing units outside India, and it has today a business of 1100 crores. And it's the same bhujia that's made in any home, but it's the brand. The Bikaner brand is what gives him all the value. There are a lot of people who ask me whether a brand comes first or a business comes first. But if you have heard our chairman speak, Mr. Prahlad Kakkar, he always says that brand and business, they all go hand in hand. It's right when you start your business, it's like when you start naming your baby and what values you want to ingrain in your baby, how you want your business to grow, what kind of virtues it's going to carry, what value it's going to build, is all, it all goes hand in hand. And that's how you are going to, create a business or grow your business. Then, regarding IP, I would like to mention here that India SME Forum is an accredited implementing agency of the Ministry of MSME to facilitate small and medium entrepreneurs for registering their trademarks, registering patents, and also helping certain clusters for building geographical indications. We have IPFC here in Mumbai and in Delhi. The IPFC in Mumbai deals with the entire western and southern region, whereas the north, the one in Delhi, caters to the northern, central, and the eastern part of all the entrepreneurs. And also let me tell you that the Ministry of MSME runs a scheme for IP facilitation, where any and all trademarks registered get a reimbursement of up to 10,000 rupees per trademark. They get a reimbursement of up to 1 lakh rupees for domestic patent, and up to 5 lakh rupees for registering your patent internationally. And it gives 2 lakh rupees for registering a geographical indication. Copyright is not covered as far as the IP scheme of Ministry of MSME is concerned. So yes, I mean, IP is the key factor in the current times. While when we say that we want to be digitally enabled and we want to jump onto the the swimming pool of all the online products, where, say, for example, if I want to sell an Annapurna brand and there are 1,000 Annapurna brands and nobody knows which one is your Annapurna brand. So in this time, it is so important that you trademark your product with what kind of value it offers, And at India SME Forum, through our Gujarat chapter and the head office based out of Mumbai, 19 chapters across India, we are all here to help you in any and every aspect of registering your trademark, getting reimbursements, and also registering your patents. So with that, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to speak here today, and at your service always. Thank you.
Mute, mute.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Many great points highlighted by Sushma ma'am. As always, it's a delight to hear her with her plethora of work that she does with the Indian SMEs and the trademark that she highlights. And very important aspect highlighted by her, that reorientation and innovation is the key. Now, we have with us the specialist on the topic, Mr. Rahul Dote from IP law litigation. Sir, I would like to ask you now, taking from Sushma ma'am, I would like to ask you that reorientation, innovation, business, they all, as you know, they have to go hand in hand, specifically in today's time. But what about scaling the businesses? Can IP protection and the enforcement of IP can lead to scaling up the businesses? And how can the enforcement lead to scaling the profits and the businesses for MSMEs or small scale industries or trade in industry in general? Mr. Rahul.
Yes. First of all, thank you, Times of India and UGF, for inviting us to speak on this very interesting topic and to be a part of a very distinguished panel. I think it's a fantastic initiative, and I hope all the SMEs, startups, and companies would benefit from this discussion. So, topic given to me is scaling up business profits by optimizing IP protection and enforcement. It's very difficult to cover each and every aspect of this in a few minutes of time, but I will try to touch upon some important aspects. Firstly, I'll try to divide the entire topic into two. One is scaling up business and profits by optimizing IP, and then I'll move to protection and enforcement of IP. Before speaking on the topic, it is very important to understand the types of entities, SMEs, and the startups. One type is the manufacturing based entity, and the other one is the innovation based entity. So far as manufacturing based entity is concerned, which deals with manufacturing for third parties, they are into distributing, they are importing and exporting. There you can protect their legal rights by way of contracts. In the contract, it's very important to set out the ownership of IP, the representation of the person giving the order or the PO, raising the PO. It's very important that it is mentioned in the representation that that particular entity holds the necessary title. Because what happens is, you under the contract get the goods and you start manufacturing, and if any third party infringement issues happen, which says that the person, the entity which is selling the goods, they are infringing somebody else's IP, you will be dragged into court battle. So it's very important to set out in clear terms and clauses who is the owner of IP, and a adequate representation that he has a clear title in that particular IP, and of course followed by indemnity and warranties of that particular entity. If this manufacturing entity holds any IP, then of course it is very important to have confidentiality clause. There has to be foolproof employee contract. There has to be a non-compete clause and a non-solicitation clause. All these aspects are very important so far as a successful running of a manufacturing entity is concerned. Now moving to an innovation-based entity, which is driven by innovations, which is which includes product designs, inventions, trademarks, copyright. So inventions are for technology and inventions. Sorry, the patents are for inventions and technology. A trademark can be any name or a mark or a device or logo. Particular entity. Design can be any shape and configuration of a particular product. And of course, copyright involves literary work, artistic work. There is cinematograph, film, there is sound recording, there is dramatic work. All these are important IPs that innovation-based company can hold. Now, it is very important that uh, uh, the companies, both, I mean, manufacturing as well as innovation company, they identify this IP. This is the first step. Identification is the first step, after which you need to protect it. So there are various specific statutes under which these IPs are protected. So patents takes around 2 to 3 years time. Now it has come down to even 1 year. The fastest patent was granted in 1 year. Trademark takes 6 months now. Then a design takes around 5 to 6 months. So in these timelines, the IP can be registered. The next step is enforcement of the particular IP by maintaining an IP portfolio. Once the protection is granted, every company or a startup or SME should maintain a IP portfolio. They should renew it as and when the deadlines are approaching. It's very important because if you don't renew it, you lose a right in that particular IP. So a patent is for 20 years, a trademark is for 10 years, which can be perpetually renewed after every 10 years. Then there is a design which is granted for 15 years. The object of the act, what is the object of the act? The object of the act is that they have given this time period to monopolize that particular product, so that that particular startup, entity or a company can monopolize it and earn maximum profit and exploiting in the best possible way. Both the company can prosper and the employees can also prosper. Another important aspect is in a startup, obviously the startups initially they look for seed funding, they look for various kind of investors. The first question that the investor will ask to innovation based entity is, have you protected your IP? Have you filed a patent? Even if the patent is pending, it will take some time for prosecution of a particular patent. Have you protected it? What's your IP portfolio? What's the valuation of IP? How can you value a company based on your IP? All these questions will be asked by an inventor. It's very, very important, of course, to identify and protect, and after that process also to enforce the IP, because enforcement will prevent dilution of that particular IP of a company. Then, of course, I mean, in COVID times, it has become even more important because the necessity that has arisen in these times, there is need for sanitizers, masks. There is a lot of business diversity that we see in the market. There are devices that have come up to detect lung abnormalities. Then there are biomedical testing kits. There is work from home technology that has come in. There is different kind of edutech that has come in. So in short, I mean, of course, in crisis, you be aware of the danger, but also recognize the opportunity. And this exactly is the time for, come up with maximum innovation that not only would the startup would earn profit, but also justify a social cause, and it reaches to maximum number of people where the need is more than any time right now. Coming to the third aspect of enforcement, it's very important for companies to know how they can enforce the right. So typically, for all kind of IP, there are two kinds of enforcement mechanism. One is civil remedy and another is criminal remedy. In civil remedy, you can get an injunction in the sense that you can stop another infringing product to be sold in the market by proving a prima facie case in the court. Second, in a civil remedy is search and seizure. You can actually get an order, appoint a court receiver or court commissioner. You can raid the premises, you can conduct the raid and seize the goods. And of course, at a later stage in the suit, there are damages that a company or entity can claim who holds a valid IP. Second type of remedy is a criminal remedy. Criminal remedy encapsulates seizure of goods, of course, like civil, criminal also has seizure of goods. Then there are penalties and imprisonment. So all these IPs have specific provisions for the remedies that can be availed by IP owner.
So I do understand, Rahul, that if we start talking about it, we have a plethora of things to
Yes.
actually touch base
So
on.
yeah, I'll start.
So,
It's,
but
it's
what
a habit. I
what
being a litigator, I just go on and on.
yeah. No, but that is what actually the passion is about. You know, that is what it shows that how much this knowledge is important for everybody to have.
Yes,
You know,
yes,
so I
yes.
mean, specifically when we talk about you did talk about contract of ownership of IP. So with that word, I would like to speak to Pathik ji, if I may. And there are very specific questions which I really wanted to touch base on, especially when we talk about how industry has been since the COVID times. So, Pathik ji, one question for you. So, we wanted to know the how orders placed by international companies are affected, especially when we talk about that the goods are ready, but the payments are not received, and at times, what are the contractual difficulties that are faced, especially by the companies, the manufacturers during lockdown. Pathik ji.
Good evening, Team UGF and fellow colleague panelists. One thing COVID has specifically done that it has changed the way the businesses work. Like we are in traditionally a buyer's market. If you see, major of our industries have been in a buyer's market. We have been dictated by the buyer's terms, and unsecured credit lines had become normal. So we have never negotiated on the platform of the payment terms, on the security of the payment, and today we have landed up in a position where the goods have been manufactured and we don't have a buyer who's going to lift them. Citing you an example like our industry, and we are into a pre-engineered buildings and structures, and we have a tailor-made product. So a goods manufactured for an X cannot go to Y. The issue is the buyer is aware of this thing. So he is definitely going to be secure in a way that my goods are definitely produced for him. I am not going to divert it to him. And so today I am not on his priority list. Today we approach our buyers, we we have conscious dialogue with them, be patient and be courteous and get our payments done, and maybe try to ship the goods out. But it's a hard time, and we'll have to work in a different way because we ourselves had created an environment where credit lines are quite undiscussed.
No, I truly agree that this is one of the ways how Indian companies have always worked. So when it especially comes to credit line, and I totally agree with you that priority, because the product is unique and it's specifically for them, so it becomes a difficulty. There's one more thing which I wanted to touch base on is basically the IP implications at customs and cross borders. Especially as you rightly said that there are products which are unique to them, but what about the counterfeit goods and the trademark infringements or patent infringements that we talk about? Anything specific that if you can highlight?
Yeah, see, IP has been traditionally in the current international trade, destination, origin, shipment of goods, everything plays a very different role. And the older economy has never focused on IP. So today they used to work on a brick and mortar scale. The trade was happening at normal. The arbitration clauses were not cared for. And then suddenly came COVID and things have changed. So in today's time, industries that have been traditional industries have not been doing well. They are facing their various hurdles in their day-to-day operations. Internationally, when we are trading, customs play a major role. So we have various customs acts, various trademark acts, which plays a very effective role when you are dealing with international businesses. And in current pandemic times, governments also has made very mandatory norms, which on a usual scale are different. So when you were dealing in past, it was not that difficult like it has become today. Now, I'll cite you an example. Say IPR in India is quite like a patchwork, I would say. Many of their eminent speakers here, and I'm not the best one to say here, but what I on the other side as a client feel that it's quite a patchwork. It's pieces here and there, and the understanding of IP is quite reluctant. So in that case, harmonization once comes up, and then with the international trade, that will help us. It's like say the problems and challenges by the COVID-19 pandemic. Because of that, like what Charles Darwin had once said, it's not the strongest that would survive, but it is the one that adapts to the changes.
Very true.
So with that, we have to understand how IP is important to our businesses, how customs is going to affect when you are intertrading it, whether it's going to you are going to infringe in a land. It might lead to seizure of goods. It might lead to destruction of your goods. So before entering into a business, one has to be very cautious. Today, in times of global times where you are on social media, you are on internet, and the world becomes your market in one single day. So not being aware of an IPR would put you at a high risk. And ignorance is not the solution when it comes to law. You will be it will equally harm you as it's going to harm others. So it's very essential that all the businesses, the startups in particular, which are venturing into business, they get aware of IP, the importance of the IP today, trademark today. We at Gujarat Chamber of Commerce and Industry also to support them. We have
I think there's a slight disconnect over here. Let us wait for a second. Okay, I think it looks like a major disconnect. So we'll get back to that. But as Pathikji rightly mentioned, as he rightly mentioned about something so something which only comes out of experience, that it is a patchwork, and that is what we realize, as a foundation, and that is what we realize, and that is why even Times of India understood that this is something where we need to touch base on. This is something where India has to grow to that level, where the traditional aspects of looking at an industry and growing it has to change. There has to be some global standardization which is required, and that is where we all basically are speaking the same language now. We literati juris, UGF, and all of you over here, which makes it possible for us to take it to the next level. So with that, as I think Pathikji is facing some issue, but in the meantime, let's get to the land of innovation. Let me come to our very own VP Vaishnavji. कैसे हैं आप? Thank you so much for being a part of this session. और जब राजकोट की बात करें, तो अगर कुछ भी प्रोडक्ट बनाना है, मैन्युफैक्चरिंग की बात करें, और अगर गुजरात की बात करें, तो राजकोट का नाम कभी दिमाग में नहीं आया. It's not possible. So with that thought and with that मुझे आपसे एक बहुत ही basic, बहुत ही straightforward, because you come from the grassroots and you understand, being a guy from chamber who has passionately worked on it. What I would like to understand from you कि इस COVID time में especially manufacturers को किस तरह की challenges or issues face करने पड़े, especially when we talk about this COVID time, because this was something which was totally unexpected by everybody. So यहाँ किस टाइप की प्रॉब्लम्स when we specifically talk about such issues कि आप ग्लोबलाइजेशन में बैठे हैं, हर जगह पे बैठे हैं, everything is open to us. So please.
हेलो. हाँ जी.
Yes sir, we can hear you.
सर जी, पहले सबसे पहली बात तो ये है, जो कोविड-19 की जो बात अभी चल रही है और जो 6 महीना से हम लोग सब इंडस्ट्रियलिस्ट सफर कर रहे हैं, तो आपने बहुत अच्छा सवाल किया है. बात है कि जब गुजराती लोगों में ऐसा बोला जाता है कि जब भी कोई आपत्ति आती है तो उसको अवसर में चेंज करने का काम हमें मिल रहा है, और ये हमारा दिमाग और दिल दोनों में है, तो इसलिए वी कैन चेंज इट, देयर इज नो डाउट. बात है अभी ये करंट सिनेरियो में छोटे इंडस्ट्रियलिस्टों को, खास करके जो रूट लेवल का छोटा इंडस्ट्री है, एमएसएमई में, जिससे बहुत सफर होना पड़ा है, और कहीं मैं आपको बात करूं जो राजकोट की जो बात करते हैं तो ऑटो पार्ट्स या इंडस्ट्री सब है, तो उसको जो एक्सपोर्ट के टाइम में जैसे में ट्रांसपोर्टेशन का प्रॉब्लम है, लेबर का प्रॉब्लम है, फंड का जो प्रॉब्लम है, सभी कई लोग का जो भी हमने एक्सपोर्ट किया हो ग्लोबल मार्केट में, तो उसका जो टाइम डिले होता है तो उसका फंड में भी बहुत क्रिएट होता है, डिले होता है, तो कहीं भी ऑर्डर भी समझो कैंसिल करवाना पड़ता है। ऐसा बहुत सारा प्रॉब्लम आ रहा है, मगर स्टेप बाय स्टेप ये लोग सब एक के बाद एक करके उसको सुलझाने की कोशिश कर रहा है। इतना तो पक्का है कि ये कोविड-19 ने हमने बहुत सारा सिखाया है, तो इसमें से रास्ता कैसे निकाले। और अगला दिन में मेरे को तो ये आएगा कि ये जो अभी 6 महीना कोविड-19 का है ना, तो जैसे अर्थक्वेक आता है ना, तो 8 स्केल का अर्थक्वेक है, इसके बाद में जब आएगा तो 1-2 वाला स्केल वाला हमें कोई कुछ नहीं करने का, कुछ बिगाड़ेगा नहीं, ऐसा मिलेगा। तो बहुत सफर करने के बाद हम लोग बाहर निकले हैं, तो अभी कुछ अच्छा होएगा ऐसा मेरे को लग रहा है।
नहीं, थैंक यू सर। आई मीन एंड वी ऑल होप, इनफैक्ट सारे लोग यहाँ पे इसी तरफ सोच रहे हैं कि वी फाइंड वेज, वी फाइंड सॉल्यूशंस कि किस तरह से इसको आगे ले जा पाए और किस तरह से इस पे टच बेस कर पाए। थैंक यू सो मच वैष्णव जी, थैंक यू सो मच। और आगे बढ़ते हुए आई वुड लाइक टू connect with at least looking at the time, we would first like to connect with the CEO of iHub, Mr. Hiranmay Mahanta. Sir, welcome over here once again. And we would like to, as you are one person who has passionately taken startup, startup जिसे कहते हैं जो देश की नींव है, जो entrepreneur, जो budding entrepreneur है, जो बढ़ना चाहता है आगे, उसको जिस तरह से iHub ने support किया है, it is highly commendable. We have seen the way that you have worked towards it. So there are certain key points जो एक any startup has to look into. So looking at that, there are a couple of questions. The first question to you, sir, is the need of IP in the startup world and the recent trends. That is a very first thing, very common, but something where आपका experience और आपका insights हमारे लिए बहुत ये करेगा और हमारे viewers के लिए भी. Please, Mahanta ji.
Thank you so much, Meet Bhai, Bhairav ji, Pratik Bhai, Ragini Madam, Nilesh ji, Rahul Bhai, Vaishnav साहब, आप सबने बहुत अच्छे इंटरेस्टिंग पॉइंट्स बताने वाले हैं। मैं थोड़ा सा हम लोग जो कोशिश कर रहे हैं उसकी तजुर्बा से बताने की कोशिश करूंगा। किताबी ज्ञान कम है, बट देन जो हम लोग सीख रहे हैं रोज बरोज की इकोसिस्टम डेवलपमेंट में, उसकी कुछ बिंदु रखना चाहता हूँ। तो जो मीत भाई ने बताया कि जो स्टार्टअप इकोसिस्टम में आईटी की भूमिका क्या है और इंडिविजुअल स्टार्टअप्स के रोल क्या है, और आज सबसे मैं साधुवाद देना चाहता हूँ आप सबको सैटरडे के आफ्टरनून में आप लोग इस मुद्दे पे चर्चा कर रहे हैं। ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट एजेंडा है, क्योंकि हम लोग पिछले 10 साल से गुजरात सरकार की तरफ से और भारत सरकार की तरफ से, स्टार्टअप इंडिया की तरफ से कोशिश कर रहे हैं कि युवाओं को थोड़े से बौद्धिक संपदा और उससे उपजाऊ होने वाले बिजनेस मॉडल्स के बारे में अवगत कराएं, इंटेलेक्चुअल प्रॉपर्टी रिलेटेड जो बिजनेस मॉडल है उसके बारे में कराएं। उसकी एक बेसिक उदाहरण से मैं चालू करना चाहता हूँ। देखिए, प्रधानमंत्री जी सबसे पहले कहे कि मेक इन इंडिया होना चाहिए और उसके बारे में पॉलिसी बनी, बट एक इंपॉर्टेंट उदाहरण से मैं आपको बताऊंगा कि खाली मेक इन इंडिया से हम कैसे पूरी गेम को कंट्रोल नहीं कर पाए। और फिर उसके आगे प्रधानमंत्री जी ने स्टार्टअप इंडिया की बात कही। इन दोनों की जुड़ाव है, वो जुड़ाव ऐसा है कि अगर आप एप्पल फोन के एग्जाम्पल लेते हैं तो उस प्रोडक्ट का 2 मेजर हिस्सा होता है। एक है आपको एप्पल कंपनी जिसके पास आईपी है, दूसरा है फॉक्सकन जो पूरा डब्बा बनाता है। अगर आप पूरे यूनिट इकोनॉमिक्स देखेंगे, टोटल जो $400 का प्रॉफिट होता है एक फोन के पीछे, उसमें से $350 सीधा पर फोन के पीछे एप्पल कंपनी के पास जाता है, क्योंकि आईपी उनके हैं। और फॉक्सकन कंपनी जो पूरा ये डब्बा बनाता है चाइना में, उसको $10 का प्रॉफिट होता है। अब इंटरेस्टिंग बात ये है कि हम जब मेक इन इंडिया और इनोवेशन इंडिया की बात कर रहे हैं, 3 मेजर चीज को देखना है। क्या सिर्फ हम जॉब क्रिएट करना चाहते हैं जो चाइना ने शुरुआत में करी, और वो गलत भी स्टेप था। चाइना को इस एप्पल फोन मैन्युफैक्चरिंग में से 2.5 मिलियन जॉब जरूर क्रिएट हुए, लेकिन वो मजदूरी वाला जॉब क्रिएट हुआ। लेकिन जो R&D और इनोवेशन वाला जॉब था वो चाइना को नहीं है। तो ग्लोबल इकोनॉमिक स्ट्रेटेजी में अगर आप देखना चाहते हैं, तो अगर एप्पल को टेक्नोलॉजी प्रोडक्ट कंपनी के हिसाब से लेते हैं, तो कहीं ना कहीं चाइना फॉलोड अ स्टेप ऑफ मैन्युफैक्चरिंग, सो मेक इन चाइना वाज अ स्टेप, बट दैट वाज नॉट द स्टेप दैट दे शुड फॉलो। तो इसीलिए जब मोदी जी ने सबसे पहले मेक इन इंडिया की बात कही, उसके बाद उन्हें स्टार्टअप इंडिया की बात कही, और स्टार्टअप इंडिया का जो पहला लेयर है वो इन्वेंट इंडिया से चालू होता है, क्योंकि जब आप इन्वेंट करोगे तो भी आईपी क्रिएट होगा, तभी जाके आप स्टार्टअप चालू करोगे। तो ये दोनों का बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट बात है। तो अगर हम सिर्फ ये सोच रहे हैं कि नौकरियां क्रिएट हो गई तो मजदूर क्रिएट करने का कोई मतलब नहीं। वी नीड टू क्रिएट हाई वैल्यू जॉब्स, वी नीड टू क्रिएट हाई एंड जॉब्स, और वो एम्पिरिकली प्रूवन फैक्ट भी है। 2003 की मसीहा में इंडिया में सिर्फ एंड सिर्फ 300 ग्लोबल मल्टीनेशनल कंपनीज की R&D सेंटर हुआ करता था। 2018 में 11 से 6 कंपनीज की R&D सेंटर एग्जिस्ट करते हैं, और ये मल्टीनेशनल कंपनीज है बाहर की, जो नास्डैक में लिस्टेड है, जो न्यूयॉर्क स्टॉक एक्सचेंज में लिस्टेड है, जो लंदन स्टॉक एक्सचेंज में लिस्टेड है। अगर 10 साल में 1000 कंपनी यहाँ पे R&D सेंटर शिफ्ट किए, उसका हेतु क्या हो सकता है? पहला हेतु ये है कि शुरू में तो लोगों को लगता था कि कॉस्ट आर्बिट्रेज है, सस्ते में आदमी मिल जाते हैं इंडिया में, बट बात वहां रुका नहीं। अगर सिर्फ कॉस्ट आर्बिट्रेज का मामला होता तो सिर्फ बैंगलोर में इंडिया की हर कैपिटल सिटी में काम हो जाता। कॉस्ट आर्बिट्रेज के साथ साथ हमारे इकोसिस्टम में वैल्यू आर्बिट्रेज भी चालू हुआ। मतलब पर डॉलर इन्वेस्टमेंट में जो वैल्यू हमारे साइंटिस्ट और इंजीनियर क्रिएट करके देते हैं वो दुनिया में कहीं नहीं बनती। ग्लोबल R&D सेंटर का शिफ्ट होने का, देखो ग्लोबल आउटसोर्सिंग सेंटर शिफ्ट होना एक अलग बात, लेकिन ग्लोबल R&D सेंटर शिफ्ट होना एक दूसरी बात है। क्योंकि 2003 में जो इंडियन R&D सेंटर्स थे 300 कंपनीज की, उसका यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स की पैटेंट ऑफिस में जो पैटेंट ग्रांट हुए थे उसका हिस्सा था सिर्फ 4%। और 2014 में जो इंडियन R&D सेंटर में जो लोग काम करते थे उनका यूएस पैटेंट का हिस्सा था 24%। इसका मतलब ये यही लोग हैं जो बड़ौदा, सूरत, अहमदाबाद, राजकोट यही पढ़ते हैं, यही इनोवेशन करते हैं, और ये लोग ग्लोबल कंपनीज के आईपी को कंट्रीब्यूट कर रहे हैं। तो ये मेजर हिस्सा था, और जिसको लेके हमने ये आई हैव अ स्टूडेंट स्टार्टअप पॉलिसी में पहल रखी गुजरात गवर्नमेंट ने। सबसे पहले हमने स्टडी किया कि भाई 80 यूनिवर्सिटी गुजरात में है, क्या कर रहे हैं हम लोग। तो पता चला कि यहाँ पे तो पूरे साल में 50 भी पैटेंट नहीं फाइल होगा। फिर हमने उनको पता करने की कोशिश की कि रीजन क्या है। तो सबसे पहला रीजन था कि कोई लिटरेसी नहीं, दूसरी चीज किसी को इसकी फायदा के बारे में पता नहीं है, तीसरी चीज कोई सिस्टमिक प्रोसेस नहीं है, कोई इंस्टीट्यूशन बिल्डिंग नहीं। तो इसीलिए हमने इन स्टार्टअप को सपोर्ट करने की कोशिश किया और हमने उनको कहा हम आपको 1000 पैटेंट फाइलिंग का खर्चा गुजरात सरकार अपफ्रंट उठाए। कोई भी इंडिया की, कोई भी इनोवेटर, कोई भी स्टार्टअप गुजरात की किसी भी इंस्टीट्यूट से निकला हो, उसको हम लोग आईहब की तरफ से, एजुकेशन डिपार्टमेंट की तरफ से अपफ्रंट 1 लाख रुपीस को सपोर्ट करते हैं।
This is highly commendable, sir. This is highly commendable.
सबसे इंटरेस्टिंग बात इसमें क्या हुआ, जब हम पीछे की 5 राज्य में हुआ करते थे पिछले 5 साल में, इस साल हम ऊपर की 5 राज्य में, बट दिल चाहता है मोर, दिल मांगे मोर, कैप्टन बात्रा कहते थे, राइट। तो हम चाहते हैं कि टॉप के 3 में आएंगे, फिर टॉप के 1 में आएंगे, क्योंकि डेफिनेटली एक स्ट्रैटेजी होना चाहिए। पिछले 2 साल में ये आप ही के स्टूडेंट्स, इनोवेटर जो हैं, 680 आईपी फाइल हुए, 230 have been published और granted by now। तो ये जो कोशिश हुआ, हम लोग उनको फाइनेंशियल ग्रांट अपफ्रंट देते हैं, डोमेस्टिक आईपी के लिए 25,000 का अपफ्रंट सपोर्ट मिलता है, और जो स्टार्टअप्स हैं जिसपे हम इन्वेस्ट करते हैं हमारे इनोवेशन फंड के द्वारा, पहला प्रायोरिटी रहता है टीम, दूसरा प्रायोरिटी रहता है आपके पास आईपी है कि नहीं है, और तीसरा प्रायोरिटी रहता है कि स्केलेबिलिटी क्या है। तो जो 3 मूलभूत जो प्रायोरिटी है उसमें से एक प्रायोरिटी जो बौद्धिक संपदा है उसके ऊपर जरूर रखते हैं। तो आई थिंक दैट्स द इनिशियल रिमार्क।
Sir, very well articulated, very well to the point. Thank you so much. ये इससे एक चीज पता चल रही है कि आत्मनिर्भर भारत की जो हम बात कर रहे हैं आज, और जिस तरह से हम लोग बढ़ रहे हैं, iHub and the team has already started working on it way before it, and we will be able to take it forward. So एक छोटा सा सवाल आपसे पूछना चाहूंगा, उसके बाद आई विल लाइक टू टेक इट फॉरवर्ड टू रागिनी टू गेट सम इनसाइट्स। मुझे आपसे ये पूछना है कि फॉर अ स्टार्टअप आपके हिसाब से एक आईपी लॉयर की क्या अहमियत रहेगी?
I think so. Patik Patwari ji is coming back. So he has to say something.
अच्छा.
Yes. No, I'm completely okay. Nothing more to add.
Okay, no problem. Thank you.
अच्छा Patik ji, I'm sorry I didn't see you back. There was some disconnect in the middle. In fact, आपका जो statement है, जो contractual का था, which I have kept it over here. We would be touch basing it because there is a very valid point which I would like to ask Rahul and Ragini, which was very specific to your queries and the insights that you shared. So just bear with us. We will get back to you in a moment. Just want to connect on this specific. जब हम startup की बात करते हैं, so we just wanted to connect once on this particular part. तो हिरणमय जी, आपसे दोबारा ये मैं पूछ रहा हूँ कि IP lawyer की अहमियत. I want to know कि how do you think that startups need to be controlled? And Ragini, I would like you to counter it or add your insights to it later on.
Definitely.
Thank you. So हम लोग उसमें दो हिस्सा रखते हैं, and this is something that came from our own experience. गुजरात में IP literacy बहुत ही कम लेवल पे था इन academics point of view. तो हमने तीन चीज करी. पहले चीज हमने इस बार जब लॉकडाउन एनफोर्समेंट हुआ, हमारे 10,000 टीचर सरकार की इंजीनियरिंग, मैनेजमेंट, साइंसेस की घर पे थे, वर्क फ्रॉम होम करना. So we launched a program. We called as IP management, IP innovation management. हमने 6,500 लोगों को 3 महीना तक बेसिक्स ऑफ नॉलेज क्रिएशन से लेकर नॉलेज एक्सप्लॉयटेशन तक की पूरी सिखाई. उससे दो फायदा हुआ. अगर आप इनोवेटर्स को देखो, इनोवेटर सबसे पहले तो कोई ना कोई यूनिवर्सिटी से आता है, कोई ना कोई इंक्यूबेटर से आता है. एक तो आईपी लॉयर एंड आईपी सपोर्ट सिस्टम बाद में आता है जब प्रोटेक्शन की बात आती है. जब वो रिसर्च कर रहा होता है, जब उसकी मिनिमम वायबल प्रोडक्ट बन रहा होता है, तभी उसको प्रोडक्ट पोर्टफोलियो मैनेजमेंट समझ में नहीं आता है. वहां बहुत जरूरी होती है. इसलिए हमने गुजरात सरकार के जो 10,000 टीचर्स हैं उनको 3 महीना घर पे बैठा के ऑनलाइन पूरी समझा. मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ कॉमर्स, सीफाम, डीआईपी, नीति आयोग, अटल इनोवेशन और आई हब ने उसकी जिम्मेदारी करी. ये दुनिया का सबसे बड़ा लार्ज स्केल कैपेसिटी बिल्डिंग प्रोग्राम था, क्योंकि एक क्लास में 10,000 टीचर सीख रहे थे. टीचर को सिखाते हैं, टीचर को सिखाने का काम हम लोग नहीं लगे थे. और सेकेंड इंस्ट्रूमेंट जिसमें हमने ये किया, ये जो 10,000 टीचर्स हैं, ये हर एक टीचर को जिम्मेदारी दी गई है और 100 स्टूडेंट्स को सिखाएंगे. So multiplied by one go in next 100 days, we are reaching to 1 million students in Gujarat to teach them what is the basic process of IPO works. और ये जो 1 मिलियन लोगों को सिखा रहे हैं, इनसे जो कैपेसिटी बिल्डिंग होगा, the third step that we are doing now is set up an IP facilitation center in every single university. Already 10 of them have done, but फिर भी 70 यूनिवर्सिटी गुजरात में, उनके साथ हम क्लोजली काम कर रहे हैं कि कैसे करें. और ये सेंटर सिर्फ कागज में नहीं बनाना चाहते हैं, हम चाहते हैं कि इनका लैब टू लैंड का कन्वर्जन जो है मिनिमम 10% होना चाहिए. इसका मतलब अगर 100 थीसिस से लिख रहे हैं, 1000 घंटे की कैलोरी बर्न हो रहा है, तो 10 सोल्यूशन जमीन पे पहुंचनी चाहिए. और इसके लिए सीधा डायरेक्शन हम लोग शिक्षा मंत्री जी की तरफ से यूनिवर्सिटीज को दिए हैं. और कोशिश ये कर रहे हैं कि अब यहाँ आती है आईपी लॉयर की बात. तो आईपी लॉयर में हमने देखा ज्यादातर लोग फार्मेसी बैकग्राउंड से आते हैं, ज्यादातर लोग लीगल पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से आते हैं. बहुत दिक्कत होती है टेक्निकल चीजों को उनकी तरफ समझाने के लिए. तो यहाँ पे हमने ब्रीज करने की कोशिश की. हमने ये 10,000 टीचर्स को सिखाया. हमने कहा now you write party license exam. They are PhDs from IITs, they are PhDs from IAC and all different departments. They may not be drafting the IP, but they can draft the claims very well in the preliminary level. उसके बाद IP लेयर को इंटीग्रेट कर रहे हैं. तो लास्ट स्टेज हम क्या कर रहे हैं, चौथी इंटरवेंशन, हमने एक स्टेट IP फैसिलिटेशन सेंटर IIT में बनाया. We are empaneling at least 100 different IP agencies and institutions, the top-notch law firms of this country and also from the Gujarat, also individual attorneys. What we are going to do, any innovator comes to us, and if his prior art search is good enough, we are going to give him upfront money. We are going to give him option कि तुम्हें कौन सा IP law firm के साथ फाइल करना है. The moment he says कि match A and match B are ready, we are going to write a check to those agencies to get it facilitated. टारगेट बहुत सिंपल है. चाइना 15 लाख फाइल करता है, इतना पहले नहीं करता था. कोरिया, जापान डोमिनेटिंग थे एशिया में. यूएस को उन्होंने 4 साल में बीट कर दिया. चाहे आपको यूटिलिटी पेटेंट किया, जो भी उनकी बात को, लेकिन कर लिए उन्होंने. वो समझ गए कि खाली आपको उनका फोन का डब्बा बना के टिक नहीं पाएंगे वो लोग. उनको इनोवेट इन चाइना तक करना ही पड़ेगा, मेक इन चाइना के बाद. सो व्हाट वी आर ट्राइंग टू सी इज पूरे इंडिया में 35,000 पैटेंट में से 4,000 पैटेंट्स भी 900 यूनिवर्सिटी से निकलते नहीं. 900 यूनिवर्सिटी हमारे पास है. गुजरात में 85 यूनिवर्सिटीज है. हमने सोचा ये इक्वेशन नहीं चलेगा. तो अगर 15 लाख चाइना करता है और उसमें से 11 लाख उसकी यूनिवर्सिटी देते हैं, कुछ नहीं तो 11,000 तो गुजरात से निकलने चाहिए, इफ यू वांट टू रियली कॉम्पीट इन नॉलेज इकोनॉमी. तो हमने इसीलिए हर यूनिवर्सिटीज को कहा कि अगर टीचर्स 3 का, ये मैं लास्ट पॉइंट बोलते रहूंगा, हमने कहा कि अपना डेफिनेशन बदलो यूनिवर्सिटी सिस्टम्स में, एकेडमिक सिस्टम में. या तो आप अच्छे क्वालिटी का पब्लिकेशन करो, या तो अच्छे क्वालिटी का पैटेंट फाइल करो, पैटेंट पब्लिश करो, या तो अच्छा प्रोडक्ट बनाओ. 3 तरीका है. तीनों के अलावा चौथा तरीका नहीं. अगर आप फंडामेंटल रिसर्च कर रहे हो तो आपकी पब्लिकेशन हाई इंपैक्ट अपने होना चाहिए. अगर आप नॉलेज क्रिएट कर रहे हो तो आईपी हाई क्वालिटी का होना चाहिए. अगर आप एंटरप्रेन्योर बनाना चाहते हो, प्रोडक्ट बनाना चाहते हो, तो प्रोडक्ट दमदार बनना चाहिए. इन तीनों के अलावा चौथा ऑप्शन ही नहीं. तो कोशिश हम कर रहे हैं कि जो टीचर्स की जो एकेडमिक प्रमोशन है, यूनिवर्सिटी की जो रैंकिंग सिस्टम है, मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ एचआरडी के साथ हम लोग बात करके रैंकिंग सिस्टम बनाया. हमने कहा उन यूनिवर्सिटीज को 40% एक्स्ट्रा स्कोर दीजिए जिनका आईपी क्रिएशन और आईपी कमर्शियलाइजेशन ज्यादा है, और खास करके जिनका डोमेस्टिक आईपी के ऊपर ज्यादा फोकस. और इस बार इसकी चक्कर में आप हैरान होंगे सुन के, इस बार जो प्राइवेट यूनिवर्सिटीज की रैंकिंग आई, तमिलनाडु 4 out of 5 यूनिवर्सिटी. तो ये सोचना पड़ेगा गुजरात को कहीं ना कहीं, और इसको लेकर हम लोग कोशिश कर रहे हैं कि एक लॉन्ग टर्म स्ट्रेटेजी बनाए. सो आईपी लॉयर की भूमिका भी देख रहे हैं, ये जो मेंटर्स है उनकी भूमिका भी देख रहे हैं, और इनोवेटर की भूमिका देख रहे हैं, क्योंकि एक दूसरे का काम नहीं कर सकता. तीनों पड़ेगा. So ये एक broad
Okay.
जी महंता जी. So thank you so much. मतलब आपने जिस तरह से बताया, तीन चीजें मेरे दिमाग में बैठ गई है. एक 15 लाख पेटेंट्स फाइल होते हैं चाइना में, तो हमें एटलीस्ट 15 लाख एक करने हैं. नंबर 2, जिस तरह से आपने बताया कि हमें बेस बनाना है, नॉट जस्ट द स्टार्टअप, बट कौन पढ़ा रहा है. शुरुआत बेस से करो और वहां से ऊपर बढ़ो, तो पूरा इंडिया एक साथ बढ़ेगा. So it's a beautiful thought. It's a wonderful way of taking it forward. So Ragini, my
महंता जी, इसीलिए हम इंडस्ट्रीज वाले और सब बार बार आपसे जुड़ रहे हैं और बार हम आपसे सवाल कर रहे हैं. गवर्नमेंट आई अब नहीं कर पाएगी. हमारे पथिक जी, नटू भाई, वैष्णव जी, पूरे गुजरात के हर एक इंडस्ट्री, अगर आप जितना भी आप 1 by 1 वर्क अलॉटेड करते रहेंगे, इंडस्ट्रीज और ट्रेड को इन्वॉल्व करते रहेंगे, you can get the result. Not only that, including the selling part, including their development part, including their venture capitalist, or blah blah blah. Then I am very much confident about our new team apex body of GCCI and especially Pathik ji. Okay, Ragini.
मुद्दा है. आज ही सुबह शैलेश पटवारी जी के साथ हम लोग बैठक किए थे और इसी पे मुद्दे पे थे. We are supposed to meet at GCCI today, but because of all this meeting we could not meet. But ये कोशिश ये है, बहुत सही मुद्दा आपने कहा. देखिए, जो माइंड टू मार्केट का रथ यात्रा है ना सर, ये 2 चक्के में चलता है. एक चक्का हमारा है जो एकेडमिक सिस्टम में, दूसरा चक्का आपके पास है जो इंडस्ट्री के पास है. 2 चक्के के बिना रथ नहीं चलने वाला है. तो कहीं ना कहीं दोनों को साथ में चलना होगा.
नहीं सर, ये घड़ी तभी चलेगी जब दोनों चक्कों के गियर्स एक साथ मिल जाएंगे और पूरी की पूरी घड़ी एकदम अच्छे से चलेगी. एंड विद दैट थॉट, Ragini, I would like to bring the same point, you know, जिस पे हिरणमय महंता जी ने बहुत ही खूबसूरत से ये बताया कि एक मेंटरिंग जो चाहिए होता है, एक मेंटरिंग फॉर आईपी, फॉर लॉयर्स, फॉर दिस एंटायर प्रोसेस. तो उसमें I would like to know a little bit about the, you know, that early stage mentoring for startups and importance of IP for the startups, and even what are the policies and everything that a startup should look into. Ragini, over to you.
Certainly. Let me just take a minute here and thank Times of India and Team UGF. You've organized this so beautifully, and thank you for having us as representatives of the IP lawyer community for today's session. To highlight the point on mentoring, I think for startups, mentorship is very important in transitioning a startup into a successful enterprise. As a mentor can guide on the importance of protecting the identity of a startup before it is released or lost in the public domain. Now, while the essence or identity of a startup is formed by its product, process, or service that the startup is into, the identity of a successful startup is formed by the novelty of these elements. Even when we loosely use the term startup, we're talking about starting something, beginning something. That novelty comes even in the name of startup. And therefore, protecting this novelty becomes the key to maintaining the success of the startup in the market. This protection, as we all have been discussing here in detail, is provided through intellectual property laws. Therefore, I think the role of an IP attorney becomes crucial because it gives that competitive edge right from the start. For instance, when we have startups come to us, very often, unfortunately, we have startups coming after they have invested heavily into their brand, into marketing, into packaging even, only to find out that they've been served a legal notice of infringement of the trade name. So if a simple step such as a trademark search was conducted before they selected or finalized the name, it would have helped them and saved so much that they had already invested. So these are simple steps that a IP lawyer as a mentor can provide at a very initial point. Even when we look at investors who are looking to invest into startups, the first question they want to know is, so what is the property that they are investing in, right? Can it be commercialized? Therefore, is it first of all protected and the property of the startup or not? And that is granted with the help of IP. So also another point that I would like to mention for startups is very many times they look after their business plans, their investments, their marketing, everything, and then they say that let's leave the legal once we are really fully in the market. So let's file the patent later when we are fully ready, when we've done our recce, when we know for sure that this is feasible. But let me bring to notice of all the startups, in the viewers, that this is a very time sensitive subject. A patent is highly specific with first to filing. Therefore, what we generally suggest and our startups is to quickly file a provisional application, which is a broad specification which covers the aspect largely. Then go ahead, you have 12 months to then add details to it, to then file the final final complete specification. So there are these steps that an IP attorney as a mentor can really guide through, which can be very useful. I want to quickly give an example here of an incident with one of our current clients now. Back then when this incident happened, they were a fresh startup, and they were very excited because they were invited by TEDx talks in California to speak about their invention. And they shared considerably about the product that they were about to launch. And to their surprise, one of the competitors heard the talk, and the competitor was based in US. He quickly filed a suit against a client for infringing, and this was at the US District Court. Had this client approached us just once before claiming rights over the infringement to just simply do a patent search, it would have saved him so much, effort and so much time and so much stress, I would say, more than even the economic stress. So these are a few, I think, checkpoints that a startup should keep in mind before they dive right into it. In general, the notion about IP currently, which I find with companies entering the market, I feel that the notion is that the law in India are ineffective, courts are slow, the process is expensive, etc. While these were all true at some point, with the recent policy changes, government grants, incubation facilities like like iHub and Mr. Mahanta so beautifully elaborated here, we have seen now patents being granted within 1 year. Now, if you look back in 2016, the average timeline for a patent was nearly a very difficult 6 years. That average has come down to 1 to 2 years. So the steps have been taken greatly for expediting these timelines. Even for trademarks, the timeline has reduced from nearly about 3 years to now less than 7 months with no objections. Considering the costs, and the notion of very expensive, systems, I would like to again throw light on, apart from the schemes available, the crucial being the government fees has been reduced by 80%. That's the discount offered to startups. Mr. Mahanta also spoke about concepts of SSIP. That's a scheme which so beautifully helps student startups. There's also the SIPP scheme, where the government works hand in hand with law firms to bring down the cost for startups. And with these kind of facilities, we have seen such drastic falls for startups in terms of the fees. A startup can today file at near about 5,500 instead of 28,000. And if the startup wishes to expedite or go through the fast track system, they may do so within 12,000 almost, instead of 80,000 near about, which is a very considerable discount. Similarly, Trademark Act provides a 50% discount to all government fees. Even the design rules proposes a 75% discount on statutory fees, which allows a single filing for 1,000 rupees only. And these are provisions which have come to be very handy in promoting, protection of IP by startups. And I'd like to close here by saying that India is now able to offer a very efficient, affordable protection to IP owners. And I'm very proud to say that we are now very much at par with international standards when it comes to our timelines, especially. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ragini. I mean, some really great insights, and this is something really good where you the kind of discounts that are being offered to the startups and the encouragement that is being given is absolutely remarkable. Thank you so much. Thank you so much on that. And now, finally, I would like to connect with somebody who is vastly experienced, somebody who has already have been working on IP patents, have been doing that, something that they do right from the start, the day they start. So Mr. Vaibhav Mehta, who is the General Manager of Bajaj Electrical Limited, we welcome you, sir. Thank you so much for being here and patiently listening to us and being a part of this session. Sir, I would like to ask you something which is, every industry, looks at industries like yours as the something where they intend to reach, the kind of system that is followed, the kind of processes that are followed, and that is how they would like to change themselves to. So there's a lot of learning which will come from you. So talking specifically of IP, because as we are trying to really make everybody, all our viewers, awareness on especially intellectual property rights. What is your take on dynamics and importance of IP portfolio to optimize your brand value? So and support the requirements for a company like yours, like a Bajaj or something. Over to you, sir. Vaibhavji.
Thank you. Thanks first of all for having me here. Thanks a lot to you. Thanks a lot.
The pleasure is all ours.
Thank you so much. It was lovely listening to everybody. Really enriching experience. Very good points. I'm sure the viewers really to enjoy and gain from this. So one unique part about IP is that I think it was very well put by Sushma ma'am. I think initially that what comes first, the brand does or the business does, and she put it exceptionally well that both go hand in hand. It's true. It's very true. And so in some of my roles, I've worked for many years. I worked with companies which were accelerators, which were encouraging a lot of startups. See, for a startup, IP is important in the sense that they need to be differentiating. They need to be able to show that this is our differentiating product. This is what we do and the competitors don't, and find a niche there so that the investors come running to them. For a business like ours, that becomes a hygiene. It's an absolute hygiene that we have IP. We obviously have IP. We have patents. We have trademarks. We have some of the most legendary trademarks at Bajaj also. And it's very important that some of these have to percolate down to all the people working for the company. People who come in new, things have to become SOP'd. There has to be a clear SOP. There has to be an IP portfolio. We have a lot of trademarks. In India, protected in more important than others, that there is one attractive side of IP and one defensive part of IP. It's very important that the startups learn very early that IP is an asset which doesn't depreciate. They will be investing in very glamorous things initially. They'll be investing in some offices, office spaces, this thing, that thing. What becomes very important in the long run for a large business is that the IP which was generated all this while over the years, 10, 15, 20 years, that would not depreciate. Especially the trademark, it would not depreciate. It would only increase in value. So it's very important. Consult the lawyers initially, get a trademark which can be protected, get the inventions which can be protected, draft them well. Mahanta Saab mentioned it so well that an FTO has to be done, and if the prior art is clear and all of that stuff, it's so important. It becomes even more important that in a larger business, we don't just do an FTO because that's a hygiene. We have to do an FTO before coming with a, invention. It's even more important to do a white space analysis. It's important for us to see, where are the opportunities like. So for a larger business, of course, some things which we are talking that a startup has to do, a trademark registration, protection of an IP, an FTO before, going for something like this. It becomes a hygiene for us. We have to have a detailed IP portfolio, use software tools to manage them, have incredible lawyers there. What becomes more important then is how do you become a business enabler? Because so I'm a lawyer with particularly IT experience, and it becomes very important that you start enabling it. So what we do is, if there is a line of business, we do a white space search and figure out, what are the areas where the company can grow in. Those are highlighted to the business. Those are highlighted to the R&D. Those are highlighted in general. And, we take initiative to figure out how best the company can grow also. So that's, I would say, in a nutshell, is the growth trajectory. And yeah, that's probably something that I would want to share. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much once again. Brilliant insights given by you, Vaibhavji. I mean, your experience and the way you have taken it forward. I mean, the way you would be able to explain, probably very few of us, out here would be able to take it. So now I would like to pass once again my baton to my colleague Shweta ma'am, and I would like her to take it forward. Yes.
Yeah, thanks, Meet. I was rather happy listening because it's such a great insight, shared by so many of our panelists today present with us. Such enthusiastic panelists working in their respective fields. Amazing to listen to them, of course. And right from Sushma ma'am sharing the insights on the importance of brand and business going hand to hand. Pathik ji telling us about how exports, imports are affected and how basically IP is taking up one of the lead places and one of the leads in making sure that the business scale up and become a brand. हालांकि ये सब जानते हुए जो मैं नोटिस कर रही थी बैठ के वो ये था कि इन सारे एस्पेक्ट में चाहे राजकोट का एरिया हो चाहे मुंबई का एरिया हो या फिर पूरे देश विदेश में काम करते हुए राहुल रागिनी हो वैभव जी हो हमारे बजाज को रिप्रेजेंट करते हुए हर कोई जो यहाँ बैठा है वो इस बात को प्रमोट कर रहा है और पुश कर रहा है कि आईपी कितना जरूरी हो गया है आजकल। फिर भी हमारे साथ मिस्टर नीलेश शुक्ला जुड़े हुए हैं जिन्होंने अपनी पूरी जिंदगी एसएमईज एंड ट्रेड एंड इंडस्ट्री को रिप्रेजेंट करने में दी है और काफी डिटेल में डीप में जाके काम किया है उसमें। पर फिर भी जहां तक मेरी अंडरस्टैंडिंग है मैं समझती हूँ कि एसएमई ट्रेड एंड इंडस्ट्री में आईपी एनफोर्समेंट लिटिगेशन इतना इंपॉर्टेंट होते हुए भी अभी भी अपना पेनिट्रेशन नहीं बना पाया है। या तो लीगल एस्पेक्ट होते हुए लोग डरते हैं या उन्हें समझ नहीं है या कोई दिमाग में कुछ और कॉन्सेप्ट है। सर मैं आपसे पूछना चाहूंगी कि क्या रीजन है कि इतना इंपॉर्टेंट सब्जेक्ट होते हुए भी हमारी इंडस्ट्रीज में उसका पेनिट्रेशन बहुत मिनिमल है अभी भी। ओवर टू यू नीलेश सर।
सबसे पहले तो मुझे ये बताना है कि आईपी इंटेलेक्चुअल प्रॉपर्टी राइट की क्या नीड है। अभी कोविड-19 के अंदर हमने किस तरह से ये सिचुएशन में उनकी हमारे इम्पोर्टेंस दिखी। स्टार्टअप और जो हमारी थे इनमें महंता जी ने बताया, ट्रेड एंड इंडस्ट्रीज की तरफ से हमारे पथिक जी और वैष्णव जी ने भी बोला कि व्हाट वी आर फेसिंग द प्रॉब्लम, देयर आर सर्टेन थिंग। वैभव जी ने भी बोला कि भाई ब्रांड के रिलेटेड किस तरह से वो इम्पोर्टेंस है। सुषमा जी ने हमारे एमएसएमई रिलेटेड हमारी पूरी जो जरूरियात है उनके लिए उन्होंने बात की। मैं तो एक ऑर्डिनरी स्मॉल स्केल इंडस्ट्रियलिस्ट का रिप्रेजेंटेटिव की तरफ से मैं स्ट्रेट सब पैनलिस्ट को एक सवाल करना चाहता हूँ कि भाई हम तो इतना जानते हैं कि हम तो जब से इंडस्ट्री बनाई, वैष्णव जी जरा आप मुझे सम्मति देना कि जब से हमने इंडस्ट्री बनाई है, जब से हम किया है, तो शुरुआत से हुआ तो क्या भी लेबर कंसल्टेंट चाहिए, लेबर का हमें उनको अपॉइंटमेंट देना है, उसका कोई लीगल इशू आया, उनका यूनियन का कुछ आया, ये आया वो आया, और हमें कुछ ना कुछ अगर उनके सामने इंक्वायरी करनी है, ये सब के लिए तो हम थक गए। हम सब ने मिलकर बोला भाई एक लेबर का एक कंसल्टेंट या तो एक सिस्टम बना दो कि वो जो लेबर रिलेटेड हमें करते हो गई। Similarly, same problem we all are facing. GST, सेल टैक्स पहले से लेके आज तक जितना भी आता था, सेंट्रल एक्साइज, अभी नाम बदलते बदलते अभी GST तक आया, तो उसमें भी हमें कोई ना कोई हमें तरीका ढूंढना पड़ा कि भाई इस तरह से करो। आज की नीड, आज के पूरी ग्लोबल पूरी बिजनेस में और हमारी जो इस कंपटीशन में, अभी आप हमें देखो कि इवन टैक्सेशन के रिलेटेड भी हमें IT और सब में ये चाहिए। हमारा सवाल ये है कि जब ट्रेडमार्क, पैटर्न, कॉपीराइट, डिजाइन एक नीड बन गई है, कंपलसरी हो गई है, अगर किसी को भी करना है तो, वैभव जी मैं सही बोल रहा हूं ना? तो ये सब चीज में अगर हमारे पास आज के टाइम में ये जो सर्विसेज है, इनके लिए हर एक चीज के लिए, आज हम माल एक्सपोर्ट के लिए, अभी हमारे प्रधानमंत्री बोल रहे हैं आत्मनिर्भर बनो, हम बोल रहे हैं कि इंपोर्ट सब्स्टिट्यूट आइटम डेवलप करो, हम कर रहे हैं। तो ये सब के अंदर पूरे ग्लोबल मार्केट में हमें जाना है। और वहां मैंने देखा कि आजकल हर एक लोग, हम लोग लिखते हैं ऑर्डर में तो आर्बिट्रेशन क्लोज लिख देते हैं। तो कहां कहां हमने देख लिया कि आर्बिट्रेशन क्लोज में IPR नहीं आता है। सुप्रीम कोर्ट भी ऐसा बोलते था, सुना, सही बात है, वो तो राहुल आप बताएंगे। बट द सेम थिंग, इसके अंदर जब कॉमर्शियल मैटर आती है, यानी फाइनेंशियल मैटर आती है, तो आर्बिट्रेशन आ रहा है। हमारे गुजरात चैम्बर ऑफ कॉमर्स एंड इंडस्ट्रीज में भी हमारा आर्बिट्रेशन सेंटर इतना बढ़िया चल रहा है कि MSME के हर एक गुजरात के जितने भी बात वो वहां डाइवर्ट किए जाते हैं। बड़ौदा में भी आर्बिट्रेशन सेंटर चल रहा है। तो मेरा ये कहना है कि हमने बात तो बहुत की, महंता जी ने भी इतने सारे पैटर्न रजिस्टर है, इनके पास बहुत सारे ये है। वी रिक्वायर्ड द पैटर्न। हम लोग UGF एंड ISF, हमारा एक ही काम है, वी हैव टू क्रिएट द मॉडल, वी हैव टू चेंज द सिस्टम, वी हैव टू क्रिएट सच अ थिंग कि हमारा ट्रेड, इंडस्ट्रीज और सब लोग को एक बहुत सिंपल सी सीधी तरह से हमें कोई एक सिस्टम बनाया जाए। एंड टुडे आफ्टर दिस लॉन्ग डिस्कशन आई हैव माय थॉट इन माय माइंड, मिस्टर राहुल, कि क्यों ना the way the labor consultant, the way the income tax and tax वाले, the way the even आजकल देखो बिल्डर्स के लिए रेरा आ गया, तो रेरा के लिए भी उनके फॉर्म से लेके कंसल्टेंट बन गए। गवर्नमेंट ने इतनी सारी सब्सिडीज और इतने सारे बेनिफिट पास किए, स्कीम्स बनाई, महंता जी जानते हैं, तो वो स्कीम्स के लिए भी कंसल्टेंट बन गए। और जरूर है, हर एक बिजनेस वाला अपना काम कर सकता है, अपनी प्रोडक्ट कर सकता है, बट हर एक चीज को नहीं। मैं आज के दिन में अगर इतना हमने मेहनत किया है कि आप लोगों ने इतना सुझाव दिया है, तो माय स्ट्रेट क्वेश्चन टू यू कि ऑल द सर्विसेज लाइक लिटिगेशन, लाइक आपको किसी के साथ पैसा नहीं हमको मिल रहा है, फॉरेन हमारा माल आया रुक गया है, हमारे पास तो एक बहुत, देखो हम तो राजकोट और हमारी भाषा एक ही, हम तो बहुत, हम आप कोई भी चीज लाओ राजकोट में जाओ, वो आदमी बोल देगा अरे हम बना देंगे यार, उसमें क्या है ही जैसे। तो हम तो बोलते हैं हम काम कर सकते हैं, हम बना सकते हैं, हम देश को आगे लाने के इकोनॉमी में प्रोडक्शन कर सकते हैं। बट आज एक ऐसी चीज हमें बताओ हमारी इंडस्ट्रीज के लिए, हमारे ट्रेड के लिए, गुजरात में महंता जी जैसे IF में बैठे हैं, तो हमारे बच्चों के लिए, हमारे न्यू स्टार्टअप वालों के लिए, हमारे नए जितने भी डेवलप कर रहे हैं नई आइटम्स या प्रोडक्ट और बिजनेस ग्रोथ कर रहे हैं, एक्सपोर्ट करना चाहते हैं, कि द वे अदर कंसल्टेंट्स आर देयर, वी रिक्वायर द IPR रिलेटेड सॉल्यूशन, जिसमें हमें कभी भी ट्रेडमार्क का काम करना है, पैटर्न का काम करना है, कॉपीराइट का काम करना है, डिजाइनिंग का काम करना है। हमने देखा, पढ़ा कि IP प्रोटेक्शन में आपका हर एक आर्बिट्रेशन आ जाता है, क्रिमिनल लिटिगेशन भी इसमें आ जाता है कभी कभी, तो वो भी मतलब बन जाते हैं आपके हर एक चीज में जहां जहां भी जरूरत है। तो यू हैव ए कॉम्बिनेशन ऑफ द थिंग कि जितने लोग कंसल्टेंट और एक्सपर्ट है, ऐसे आप लोग को भी आज हमारे को कोई प्रॉब्लम आया, यहाँ पूछो कि छोटा सा कोई वकील से लिखाना है कुछ कि भाई हमारा ये रुक गया तो कितना पैसा मारेगा, आज कोविड की तरह हो रहा है, तो हमें पता नहीं चलता है। तो वी नीड सम सॉल्यूशन। मैं इसलिए बोलता हूँ कि सब्जेक्ट बोल रहा हूँ, डोंट टेक इट इन अदर वे। मैं पूरे कि we are worried about our future, we are worried about our outcoming next business. So Mr. Rahul, I have straight question. Forget about moderator. मैं तो मेरे दिल से हमारे on behalf of my all industry people और even I have की तरफ से भी आप क्या सर्विस प्रोवाइड करेंगे, आप क्या हमें हेल्प करेंगे, गुजरात के हमारे इतने स्टार्टअप में आप क्या करेंगे, एंड सेम थिंग आप इंडस्ट्री स्मॉल स्केल के लिए किस तरह से हम पैकेज बना के दे सकते हैं, कॉर्पोरेट के लिए कैसे, एंड यू पुट द पर्सन। एंड फाइनली माय वन स्लोगन मैं आपको एक देना चाहता हूं, आज ये टाइम्स ऑफ इंडिया और यूजीएफ और हमारे साथ मिलकर हमारे इंडस्ट्रीज वाला है कि वी रिक्वायर्ड IPR ऑन कॉल सर्विस। IPR ऑन कॉल सर्विस, डॉक्टर ऑन कॉल सर्विस है, IPR ऑन कॉल सर्विस करके अगर बना दो तो बस हमारा काम शुरू हो जाएगा। थैंक यू वेरी मच।
Sir,
Thank you,
beautiful.
Nilesh, for that question. I totally agree with you, and obviously, I mean, we'll be more than happy to provide whatever assistance for Government of Gujarat, UGF, and any organization. And it is always beneficial to have a package because, see, depending upon the volume of work, getting a retainer package or giving a package would also help the business, because if you just engage a IP lawyer, he will only execute that particular IP work and deliver it and finish it off. But important चीज है कि उसका business के साथ associate करके solution निकालना, when you are a part of day-to-day business along with that particular IP, that is the need of the hour. So for any IP lawyer, if there is a retainer package or he's a IPR consultant on call, you can call him anytime कि बॉस इसका क्या हो रहा है, इसका कैसे हम इसका पैसा कैसे कमाएंगे, इसको कमर्शियलाइज कैसे करेंगे, इसको एक्सप्लॉइट कैसे करेंगे, ठीक है मेरे इन्वेस्टर के साथ मीटिंग है, कैन यू जॉइन अस, कैन यू सेंड अ रिप्रेजेंटेटिव. All these things can only be possible when you have a consultant on call, and that services can very well be provided, and it is very comfortable for any startup or SME to have such consultant on board.
बताइए कि हमारे महंता जी और ये जो काम कर रहे हैं, रागिनी स्पेशली मुझे भी ये जानना है तो व्हाट टाइप ऑफ, आप अगर इतना यूसी बर्कली से पढ़ के आए हैं और यहाँ गुजरात में आप स्थायी हुए हैं, तो भाई हम तो जानते हैं, देखो हमारा तो एक ही काम है कि जो आते उसको बंद कर दो, सामने ले लो और हमारे लोगों के यूज बेनिफिट में ले लो। महंता जी, आप हम लोग भी इनके क्या सर्विसेज ले सकते हैं? पहला सवाल होता है ऑनररी, बाद में सवाल होता है हमारा कि दूसरी क्या सर्विस दे सकते हो। At least you say about to some commitment to our Mahanta ji and our Gujarat government, our IHub also.
सर हम लोगों ने अभी पब्लिकली जो फैसिलिटेशन सेंटर है उसको नेक्स्ट वीक में ही हम लोग अनवील कर रहे हैं, और हम लोग हर क्वार्टर में 200 टीम्स को, चाहे इनोवेटर हो स्टार्टअप्स हो, लेकिन हमारा थोड़ा सा जो डेफिनेशन है, कोई भी इनोवेटर जो पिछले 5-10 साल में यूनिवर्सिटी से निकला हो उन्हीं को हम सपोर्ट कर पाते हैं, बट नेक्स्ट लेवल के लिए इंडस्ट्री डिपार्टमेंट सपोर्ट करता है, उनके पास भी 2 लाख रुपीज का स्कीम है। तो हमारा टारगेट है 200 इनोवेटर्स को इस क्वार्टर में हम लोग सपोर्ट करेंगे। उसकी जो फाइनेंशियल रिक्वायरमेंट है वो भी अपफ्रंट देंगे, उसकी इसीलिए जो प्रायर आर्ट सर्च की कॉस्ट होता है सर्च करने के लिए, उनके लिए जो टूल्स चाहिए आईपी सर्चिंग कर लेकर वो सब भी उपलब्ध करवा रहे हैं। और उसके साथ साथ सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट बात यह कि हम नहीं चाहते कि हर इनोवेटर अहमदाबाद आए सपोर्ट लेने के लिए, अगर हम कोशिश कर रहे हैं कि सर्विसेज इनोवेटर तक कैसे पहुंचेगा। तो इसीलिए हम लोग क्या कर रहे हैं, जो गुजरात की 4 मेजर रीजन है, राजकोट, सूरत, अहमदाबाद, गुजरात में, वी आर सेटिंग अप अ बेस स्टेशन देयर, अलग अलग यूनिवर्सिटी की इनोवेशन सेंटर के माध्यम से। तो उस रीजन की जो इनोवेटर्स हैं उनको वहीं पे कर लेना है, एवरीबॉडी हैज टू अप्लाई देयर। और हम लोग कोशिश ये कर रहे हैं सर कि हर महीने में जो भी एप्लीकेशन आएगा, दूसरी महीने की 1 तारीख को उसको एक्सपेडाइट कर देंगे। वी वांट टू गो फास्टर, हम सरकारी फाइलों में वो बांधना नहीं चाहते हैं उसको। वी वांट टू आइदर से इट इज नॉट गोइंग टू हैपन और गोइंग टू से इट हैपेंस। वी आर नॉट गोइंग टू वेट मोर देन 30 days। एंड आइडिया इज वेरी सिंपल, एक फाइलिंग के लिए सपोर्ट करना चाहते हैं, दूसरा सपोर्ट करना चाहते हैं जिनका पेटेंट पब्लिश हो गया है, ग्रांट हो गया, क्योंकि एक तरफ हम कह रहे हैं फाइल करो, दूसरी तरफ जिनका हो गया उसको सपोर्ट करने के लिए कोई नहीं है। तो सेकंड जो इंपॉर्टेंट बात है कमर्शियलाइजेशन को लेकर या उसको स्ट्रैटेजिक डायरेक्शन में बिजनेस यूनिट में इंटीग्रेट करने के लिए, उसके लिए एक डेडिकेटेड यूनिट बना रहे हैं जो एग्जिस्टिंग आईपी जो इनोवेटर्स को हो गए हैं उनका स्ट्रैटेजिक पोर्टफोलियो मैनेजमेंट में कैसे होगा उसके ऊपर काम करने वाले हैं। और तीसरा जो इंपॉर्टेंट बात ये है, जो हम चैम्बर ऑफ कॉमर्स के साथ वैष्णव जी जैसे लोग हैं उनकी मदद से, आप लोगों की मदद से करने की कोशिश करेंगे कि गुजरात में जो एग्जिस्टिंग बिजनेस हाउसेस हैं, चाहे आउटसोर्स बिजनेस हाउसेस हैं या डोमेस्टिक बिजनेस हाउसेस हैं, उनका जो पोर्टफोलियो ऑफ बिजनेस है, उनकी पोर्टफोलियो ऑफ बिजनेस में जो इमर्जिंग स्टार्टअप का जो पोर्टफोलियो है कहाँ मैच करता है, सो दैट न्यू इनोवेटर्स का आईपी और एग्जिस्टिंग बिजनेस की स्केल, ये दोनों का मैरिज करने का जो पूरा कुंडली मिलन है उसको करने की कोशिश कर रहा है। एंड दैट्स वेरी वेरी सिग्निफिकेंट, बिकॉज हमको लगता है कि कहीं ना कहीं, आज सुबह मेरे पटवारी जी से यही बात कर रहा था, एंड गुजरात चैम्बर के साथ उसी पे काम करने वाले हैं। वी आर गोइंग टू पिक 100 इनोवेटर्स एट फर्स्ट गो, जिनके पास आईपी है, पब्लिश और ग्रांटेड या स्टार्टेड बिजनेस एंटरप्रेन्योर्स है, but they can marry with larger players. Not necessarily marriage has to happen unilaterally, but we are trying to facilitate so that they can focus more on their R&D. Somebody can facilitate करेंगे, जिसको भी भेजना है ऑनलाइन बोल दीजिए, दूसरा जिनका हो गया है उनको आगे ले जाना है, और तीसरा है जिनका आईपी तो प्रोडक्शन हो गया, बट नाउ दे नीड नेक्स्ट लेवल ऑफ एंजल इन्वेस्टमेंट, नेक्स्ट लेवल ऑफ स्ट्रेटेजिक बिजनेस, उनको हम बड़ी इंडस्ट्रीज के साथ और स्ट्रेटेजिक पार्टनरशिप करेंगे। तो तीनों कदम में हम कोशिश करने में मदद कर रहे हैं।
Ragini, you have to say something.
Yes, I would love to add. Actually, Mr. Mahanta, this is a very important point, क्योंकि हमारे भी थोड़ी large companies हैं जिनको काफी सारी requirements होती हैं. They work with these vendors. It's a very common concept in India, of course, for a large company to have vendors. And if we are marrying these individual startups or choti companies which are just starting off to these large companies, IP will be so beautifully transferred. अभी क्या हो रहा है कि lot of these unorganized sectors are inventing, लेकिन उनका invention protect करने के लिए उनके पास funds नहीं है, और जो large companies हैं जिनको invention चाहिए उनके पास invention नहीं है, because it is with a unorganized sector. तो अगर वो directly channel through inventor to large company आ जाती है, so IP is also protected, and the small parties also given that recognition and the financial support. So yes, it's a beautiful concept, and it's great that you are working towards it. It's required.
Okay, now Sweta, who is giving the vote of thanks?
I would like to interrupt here for a minute. वैष्णव जी और पथिक जी ने बहुत एक स्पेसिफिक पॉइंट पे किया था, और मी ऑल्सो बीइंग अ पार्ट ऑफ इंडस्ट्री और काफी सारी चीजों से, ये एक ऐसा पॉइंट है जिससे मैं काफी टच होता हूँ, और हमारे व्यूअर्स के लिए भी ये पॉइंट बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है। तो अगर आप सबकी सहमति हो तो मैं 1 मिनट के लिए राहुल और रागिनी जी से एक सवाल पूछना चाहूंगा। पथिक जी, अनफॉर्चुनेटली आई कैन नॉट सी हिम राइट नाउ ओवर हियर, बट आई वुड स्टिल लाइक टू आस्क द क्वेश्चन। सो this is an open question to Ragini and Rahul, both of you. When it comes to, we were talking about exports, we were talking about international deliveries, international companies, payments. So their contracts have always played a specific role. How do we safeguard our Indian companies when it comes to such, जैसे पथिक जी ने भी बोला और वैष्णव जी ने भी बोला कि हमें जो प्रॉब्लम आता है वो एक्सपोर्ट में एक डर भी होता है, एक, और especially during COVID time this was very very prevalent. So my very one specific question to you guys is, it's an open question to both ki, what are generally Rahul, according to you, are the contractual difficulties which are faced by them, and to Ragini, any you can also emphasize on what are the other cross border implications that we would see, especially जब इसकी बात करें तो. Over to you. We will try to keep it concise, but I would really want your inputs on it.
Thanks, Meet.
I'll just tell you about my experience in COVID time. I have faced 2 issues. I mean, my clients have faced 2 issues in COVID time, especially from the manufacturing sector. What has happened is they get an order from an international company without obviously payment of funds. The products are stuck, the manufacturing is done, orders are made, the products are manufactured, and they cannot deliver it because of the COVID situation, and they cannot even sell it because there is a specific embargo under the contracts. The second situation which the clients have faced is the rental issue, because they cannot operate due to government regulations, and they could not operate from their office. Still, they have to pay the rent. These are the two prominent issues that most of my clients have faced, to which the solution is only one thing, that we'll have to read the contract. A contract specifically normally has force majeure clause. We'll have to see or analyze and sit whether this pandemic situation falls within the ambit of force majeure clause. Fortunately, the courts in India, they have safeguarded the rights of such manufacturing units. They have said that if the situation and the delivery or the performance of contract has become impossible under a specific provision of Section 56 of the Contract Act, they can either sell the good or just keep the goods with them, despite of having an embargo, because their side of the contract cannot be performed. There are government, it's a government act, there are government regulation that you cannot move the goods. So what do? The goods are lying in their the premises, and they cannot even sell it, because most of the contract has that even if the money is not paid to you, you cannot sell it for 1 year or 6 months. They are in a catch-22 situation. They don't know what to do with the goods, and they are suffering loss on every day. So it's very important to read these contracts. The contracts must be having force majeure clause. Even if they don't have force majeure clause, the contract is frustrated because of the emergent situation, and the courts have protected rights of such manufacturing unit from district court till Supreme Court. They have protected, and the people, the manufacturers, were allowed to dispose of in such situation at the rate whatever they want, and that was not amounted that did not amount to infringement of the rights of the international company. So this is the situation that I have faced in COVID time. Over to you, Ragini, if you want to add anything.
Thanks, Rahul. Thank you, Mees, for the question. Very quickly, I just want to sum up on the cross-border implications. In fact, just the last 2 days, I've been seeing so many news articles on confiscation of counterfeit goods. There are numbers, ranging up to like USD 115K per seizure,
Absolutely.
of goods, which is really crazy. So here it's obvious that either counterfeit is increasing or the vigilance is increasing at the cross borders. Either way, there is a connection with the seizure and COVID. So that's where some of our clients would face a problem in case they have not taken the correct checks. To explain, let me give you a hypothetical scenario. Consider a company X, which is based in US, take for example, and company Y, which is our Indian manufacturer. Now, company X has ordered a certain supply with certain specifications, and the Indian company has manufactured accordingly and very diligently packed everything, exported, sent. Just then, at the cross borders, it's confiscated. Why? Because the request was to place a Gucci logo on the product. Now, the company X, which is in US, is not Gucci, clearly. And therefore, this amounts to counterfeit goods. Now, the question is, how would the Indian company be affected? The Indian company did nothing wrong, but it still didn't do the IP check, right? So when given an order, it would be very important for Indian manufacturers to ask for the IP ownership, to check what amounts to counterfeiting. Now, this is a simple example. Anybody would know this is a Gucci logo would amount to counterfeiting, but we are talking about products like PPE. We're talking about respiratory masks. Now, we have the company 3M, which has over hundreds of patents on respiratory masks alone. Now, how is it possible to know that this particular concept is patented in US? You need to conduct an IP search for it before you manufacture. The issues have been that these companies unknowingly have been blacklisted, and now even the future transitions have been delayed for them. So it's quite a problematic issue right now. Yeah. So that's right. About. I know.
No, thank you. That was really insightful. Thank you. Yeah, because as I rightly said that with COVID and with the requirement growing, especially for these supplies, counterfeiting has become such a big issue. And for simple people like us, even Amazon, we are not sure what to order.
Absolutely.
Because that has been a nightmare. You know, kuch bhi bhao, any price, any cost, people are scared. So scared, you know, dara ke bhi bech rahe hain. Thank you so much. Thank you so much on that, and I'll pass it to Shweta ma'am.
Thank you so much, Ragini. Thanks, Rahul. Thanks, Meet. I would suggest this was such a wonderful communication created. Last 1.5 hours, 90 minutes passed by in a blink of an eye, because there was so much shared by every vertical, by representatives joining from various verticals. It actually reminded me of a quote that says that good communication is as stimulating as a black coffee and as hard to sleep after. So I don't think so any of us will be able to sleep over any of the thoughts that are shared, because there's so much to work on, so much work, so much need, combined with the solutions that we presented here. Thanks to the Times of India platform. Thanks to the viewers who've been pouring in questions, and we will take them separately. We will put them to the right verticals, to Mahantaji, to Sushma Madam, to Ragini, Rahul, everybody who are present here for the solution, for joining hands actually to create a model, you know, as suggested by Nilesh sir. We definitely are looking forward to all of this in future. This doesn't end here for sure. It was such a wonderful communication. Thank you. Thanks to all of you, Mr. Pathik Patwari, Mr. VP Vaishnav, Sushma Madam, for joining in, Nilesh sir for his insights, Mahanta sir for elaborating on all the aspects, needs of startups, which many of our viewers are joining in from the startup area today. All our MSME viewers who are present today on various platforms, for helping and supporting us on presenting this webinar on the digital platform of Rajkot Chamber of Commerce and Industries, iHub, and Gujarat Chamber of Commerce and Industries as well. We really, really heartily thank you for all your contribution. Thanks a lot.
And a special thanks to our very own Mr. Vaibhav Mehta for taking out time.
A very special, yes, a very special thanks.
Thank you.
Vaibhav,
Thanks.
yes,
Thank you.
we all look up
pleasure.
to companies like you. We all look up to creating examples and, you know, being there and seeing and experiencing it for ourselves. Thank you so much for joining in. Thanks all. And if there was any mistake, which any points which we could not cover, we promise we will do it next time. Thank you so much. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Thank you all. Thank you very much.